Hey folks, it's Sunday night. Let's get some development work done. And tonight we are finishing off two parts of the minimap, and I shall show you them. So we've got this end part to finish off, and we also have this part here, which is a four-way. Okay, so we're going to fill those out, and the way we're going to do the end part is we're going to go in here, we're going to bring this up, we're going to look at it in our viewport, right, and then we're going to bring in the actual end part, right, and then what we'll do is we shall duplicate this, we shall spin it round, okay, we shall move its position, and it's going to be at 25. Then we shall move it to position 200, which moves it directly into the center, and then we shall bring it down to 3, and that should be us. Okay, and then we come in here, we delete that part, and that's -10, which is all good. Then we open up our end part, we click on this, we get our actor, and we set it with a tag called Minimap hidden. We compile that, we'll look at our viewport. Hey Disney, how you doing, mate? And then we open up our crap. We duplicate that. I forgot to duplicate it. Right, we call it end. Then we basically remove this from the straight, and we save all these. Then we go back into our end part and we drag our end in, and that should be us. Okay, so if we press play now, you'll see that our end now has an end. And our minimap is looking good, I'd say. Okay. So the last part that we have to do is the four-way turn. Now, the four-way turn is going to be derived from our T-junction. Right, so this is going to be four-way. Okay, and we're going to open it up. We're going to go to the viewport. Okay, that's all well and good. And what we're going to do is we're going to select those and we're going to duplicate them, and that can go in there. Right, then we shall move it, and then we shall duplicate it again, right, that didn't duplicate properly. Yeah, it's not working right. Okay, whatever. Right, so what we'll do is we shall select both of these again, then we shall duplicate them again, and then that one can go in there. Then in 9 we can basically drag it over to here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it, and it's going to go like that, and this one we're going to rotate it to go like so. And this is going to be 75. And the way that we do this to make sure it's all laid out properly is we now drag in our four-way, and we check how things are lining up. So we can delete this plane, then this goes here. We are going to delete it in a minute, right? And then so this is going to be minus 50. Then we shall just check it here, that looks good. And then this one here, one, 2, 5, 75. 75 is cool. That's perfect, and that's that done. Right, so we delete that now. We save all that. Then we open up our four-way. We come down to the actor and we call it hidden. How are you tonight, Disney's? And we say minimap hidden. We then save that, we look at the viewport, then we drag in our four-way, and there we go. And if we save all, we should now, our map should be complete, basically. And there we go. There's our four-way, and it's not, yeah, it is, that's right. Oh no, it's not. There's something not quite right with one of the sides of it. Okay. And we can clearly see which one it is. Right? So we need to bring that back in and check which ones are the wrong ones. And it's these ones here, right? It's these ones here. So we can delete this back off. And now I'm not 100% sure if this is in line now, but I'll check in a minute. Right, because all we need to do is bring the four-way back in. Yep, that's better. Right, that's much better. We can save that, then we can delete this, save that, file, save all, and we should now be able to see the whole rotten lot of them. We'll pick up these, see if we can pick up some speed. And there we go. So now our full map is looking good. And that takes us to the end . Oh no, we've only got 4 seconds and we didn't get there. Right. So that's that done. Okay. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say directional light. Give me some light so I can see what's going on. Right. So basically, I'm not keen on this or possibly that or possibly that. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to pop in a turn. Right. Then we're going to duplicate that. Then we're going to spin it around. To there. Then we can join it on here. Then we can have a straight. Right. So we can have our straight. And then we need another turn. Right, and that is going to spin 90 degrees that way. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to spin it 180. Now this is just going to break it up a bit so that we don't have like that huge long thing there. And I might do something similar here, but the point at the moment is basically to get this to work. Right, so we're going to do another turn here. Then we're going to spin it to there. Then that can join there. Then we will need well, we can do what we can do is a couple of straights here, right? that needs to go there. I believe. Does it? Okay, so these need to go one more that way. And what we'll do is we'll delete that, then we'll add a turn on there, then it's going to spin 90 degrees that way. And there. So that can now join on there, but we're not going to have it that these things join on quite so straight as we were doing before. Right, so we can spin it around. That's going to go there. Okay. And then we're going to spin this to there. I'll join there. Then we need another turn there. And we do that and join it up. And then we can do a straight. And join it up. Okay. And if we save everything, what we can do is we can press play, and this is going to now tell us we've got 110 different pickups. So we're getting there. Now what I want to see is the sort of area that we've got here. So Okay, so we can basically work a lot more out of this. Okay. And what I was also going to do here was, let's say, I want to see this. Right. In light and right, we want to have a look at this. Yeah, that doesn't... Why has that not got a point light? Added a point light. Is it, did I lose that last night or something? Right, okay, well whatever, we'll add it back in. Right. And I believe we set the intent, let's set the intensity to 750. Right. And we shall change the colour to an oranginess. Right. And if we add it to that, and then zero it out, okay, and then we add, I think it was 40, right? Now, what I want to see is the effect that this has on our parts, right? But the other thing we want to do is, have I got any light? Yeah, maybe not. Do we have any light profiles? No. Okay, whatever. What I want to see is the effect that this has on... Well, it's not going to work on that, is it? Or it should. Right, so it's not giving us a hell of a lot of light. Right, but if we do... Right, we'll put this back. We'll keep that there, but we'll drag off the lighting one, right? Okay. So that's the four-way. We want the T-junction. We want something with this light on it, okay? So that we can see the effect of Now you see that should have had an effect, right? Let's put 5,000, right? Compile that. Now that did have an effect. Right? Now let's make this ridiculously stupid and add a 0. And you see the effect that has. That's very bright now. And it's basically lighting up the whole thing. So we don't really want that. What we want is something a little less. Now here we have this pickup, right? What we really want to do here is set this so it doesn't cast shadows. Right, now apparently it's going to be probably this one. And here it's here, cast shadow. We don't want that to cast a shadow. Right, now we can do the same for our other ones. But that wasn't the point of getting to here. The point was that we're checking our intensity of our point light. Right, to make sure it's working and it's there. Because one of the problems is that, you see this is far too bright now. Right, and that's because of two things. That's because this is on. And the intensity of our lights is too strong, right? But the good thing is they are not switching off, right? Now before we had that problem where they were actually switching off, right, which was causing us a lot of problems seeing doors and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll half that. And you'll notice that's came right down. And it's still way too much. And it's still way too much. Right, and if we press play now, I would say that's still too much. Or let me put it this way. Our lighting is, the attenuation radius is far too big. Right, so we're going to pull that down to 500. And we might even make it even smaller than that, because if you look at this, that's still a big, huge radius, right? And that's cutting it way down. And that might just be a touch too small. So we'll call it 150. We'll save that. Right. And then we'll press play. And that's a lot better looking. And for some reason, right, my issue is we're gonna have to do something with the doors. Right, there's definitely something going on with the doors that we need to do something with, right? You'll notice we need to definitely do something with the doors. Okay. So we're going to close everything. We're going to go back to our layout parts. Then we're going to go to our door. We're going to go to our viewport. And then we're going to see what we can do with the door. Right. And then we're going to duplicate that. And we're going to call it door. Okay. And we're going to rotate it 180. And we're going to see where might the best place to put it is. On this door. Okay. In fact, you know what? I think the best place to put this is on the pillar. What do you think, guys? Is it going to fit on the pillar? That's the question. Right, so we'll get it down to 10. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Right. Then we'll duplicate it. And we'll move it onto the other pillar. And this kind of proves that both pillars aren't in line. Or Yeah, that kind of proves both pillars aren't in line. That's 100, 290. So I'm guessing this should be, this one here should be 300. And then this should be in 10. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll select both the light and doors, right? And we'll duplicate them. And we shall do 180. And we'll do the same on this one. Then we shall select them both. We might not be able to do this. Right, I hate it when it does this crap. Right, so that was on X, wasn't it? Nope. So it was on Y. So we'll move it to there. We'll do the same with this one. Then we'll go to the other side of the door. And we'll move it back in onto there. And then this one goes there. And that should solve our problem of not being able to see doors. Okay. Much better. And there we go. Now, the next thing that we could do to shimmy things up a bit is I'm pretty sure we have a selection of carpets. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Right, so that's no good to us. We've got a horror dining room. Don't know what's in here. That's a wall lamp and stuff, right? So we're using that part of it. I believe we've got a residential house. I don't know if this is going to have... Yep, we're not using that either much. Has the log cabin got any meshes? I don't think I'm even... Yeah, I'm not even using any of that log cabin. That can probably go as well. Right, so we're basically now on to our static meshes. Right, and if we look at the floors, that doesn't have the actuals. But what I could do here is we can have levels going down and levels going up if we require. Right? But we do have stuff here. Okay? We have carpets. We have 4 different carpets. Okay? Now, what I'm going to have to do is check the size of these carpets to see if they are... Well, let's just do it, shall we? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our layout parts. Right? And we'll create a new folder and we'll call it props, right? Because everybody else calls it props, so why shouldn't we call it props, right? And we'll create an actor, right? And we'll call it BP. It's a rug, right? It's a carpet. It's not really a carpet, it's what we would call a rug. A throw rug. We just call it a carpet, right? It's not really a carpet, but you know what I mean, right? So with that in mind, what we'll do is we'll bring all of these static meshes in there so that we can compare the sizes against each other. Okay? And then what we can do is we can adjust them as required. Right? Right? So that's good. And we'll make that 25. Right, so those are the same size. Right, we'll make this 150. Now that's a small one, okay? Now what we could do here is basically make it so that it's more or less the same size. And it still looks okay. Right? And then finally, we want this one. And that is going to be 75. And basically we just want to make sure that it's the correct width of the other ones. And then once we've done that, we can basically go 1.25. Right? And that basically gives us our 4 rugs. And as long as we don't, as long as we keep them at that scale, right, they're all going to pretty much fit whatever we need, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break. So I shall be 2 minutes, don't go anywhere. Check out the description, like and subscribe. You'll find Discord, etc. in there, and I shall be right back. Okay, we're back, guys. Right, so where were we? Oh yeah, we were making this thing, right? So we are deleting that and that and that and that, right? And then we're going to add a static mesh. Right? And then we're going to add a variable and we'll call it carpet meshes. And it's going to be of the type static mesh. Okay. And then in our event graph, we can drag this in. Oh dearie me, that's not a good idea because this is actually an array, right? And we're going to add our 4, right? And our 4 ABC static mesh, that's not right. Static mesh. Right. And bang these in here. We can muck about with the actual size of them later. We just want the code working for now. So what we'll do is we'll get that. Then we do length. Then we do -1. And that gives us our maximum number. Then we do random. Okay, we right click and we type random int in range. Then our max goes in here. And then we grab off of this and get a copy. Then we pop that in there. Then we drag in our carpet and we say set static mesh. Then this goes in here. And we do that. And that's going to give us our random mesh. Okay. And now if we go into our layout straight, right, we go into our straight, and we come in here. What we're going to do is we're going to add our prop, and that's going to go, basically it's going to go in the center to start with. Anyway, we can adjust it while we generate it if we want. right? So this is too big. That's going to be 200, 200. Okay. And we can actually adjust it here, so we can say 0.75. Right. And we'll have to undo that and set this to 0.75. Okay, that's still probably a bit big. Right, so we're going to set this and we'll set it to 0.65. Okay, so we'll save that. Okay, now what you'll see here is if we actually simulate this, you'll notice that we actually are going to have to rotate it 90. So we shall rotate it 90, and that's 9, so that's not very good. Right, and we'll save that and then we'll simulate again. And some of them are still too big. So we're going to have to go 0.55. Now we can set these up anyway, but we can actually set these up individually to be different sizes that we need, right? But it does a lot of picking of the round one, doesn't it? That's fine. We'll leave it at that, right? I mean, what we can do is set up an enum and say circular, small, and then the two large ones, and then do individual processing on them if it picks that one, right? But for the moment, we just wanted to put down random stuff, basically. So in here, we're just going to get, let's say, random int in range, and we'll just give it a 50-50 chance, right? So if this equals 0, right? So we'll just pop this over here. Right, and we'll branch here. Right. And if it's true, we'll just go straight to here. And if it goes to false, we'll destroy component. Okay. So once again, this is just to add that little bit of randomness, that little bit of difference every time you come into like the levels, that they're going to look that little bit different every single time, right? So now you'll notice that our carpet's in there every time, and if we press play, you'll notice now that we've got carpets, not carpets. Then there's a smaller carpet, smaller carpet. Right, the corners and everything aren't going to have them. We need to add it to them. It's just basically the straights that I've added it to, but that's given us a little bit more character to the game once again. And as I said, we can knock them off center and stuff just to add a bit more character, but try to keep them within the boundaries of what we're doing. Right, and you can see now that we've got some nice little bit of randomness with carpets showing up and stuff. And give me a second. I have to turn my microphone off for a second. Okay, so we're back and the wife's just came back, so normally the dog goes ballistic. And if we go around, we've got an end of a level there that we haven't done. But as you can see, this is working really well. We've got 95 out of 110, 96, 97. I believe that's 98. 100. And this is what I wanted to see. You'll notice that there's something weird about that. About that display. Right, we've got 9 to collect. Right, and we should be able to find them on our minimap. If I was to pay some attention to where I was going, like. Right, we've definitely not been here because we've got, yeah. This looks like that's the end of a level. Okay, I'm lost. Oh, there's one. Wait a minute. Did that show on the map there, or did I miss that? There's bad guy. There's one there. There's two. Right, we can zip by him. And there is one there. Right, so that's 108. And this is going to finish us off here with 109 and 110. There we go. So our mechanics are all working nicely. The only problem is that the minimap seems to be showing right, so if we go to HUD, Minimap and W Minimap, right, oh yeah, this is the thing that we need to do. We've got an animation to do. Alright, so that's okay. And I'm going to set this. Yeah, that seemed okay. I don't know if that was just a weird shenanigan or not. Right, but what we're going to do here is right, it's in the designer. We create an animation and it's going to be called enlarge. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to click on there, then on the timeline, and it's going to be our canvas scale. Right, so what we'll do is we'll call this main. And we're going to main, right, and we're going to say transform and we're going to go with scale, right, and it's going to take 1.5 seconds, let's say. So here it's going to be 0 and 0. Oh no, it's not. This is going to be 1 and 1. And here at point 0 it's going to be 0 and 0. Right, and we're going to remove these other keys because we're not interested in them. We're only interested in the scale. Okay, so we save that, and then what we do is in our graph, when when we do this, we basically get our animation and plug it in here. Okay. And we save that. Then what we need to do to test this is, well, actually all we need to do is press play. Well, that's a bit weird. It's actually a bit cool though. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our blueprint there. We're going to open this up and then we're going to remove this. We're going to save it, right? Then we're going to press play. And when we pick up, there we go. We like that. Yes, indeed we do. Now, here's the thing. Here is the thing indeed. What I want to know is this gun, is this first person camera accepting actually using a animation? It's not using an animation class, you see. This is actually using an animation class. Right now, here is the interesting thing. If I open up this animation, right, and I go to the event graph, and sorry, I'm having to block a bot. Right, so what we want to do is have a look at this event graph, and we want to know if it actually hits here or hits here, right? Because if it does, we can use it to do footstep sound effects. And you'll notice that it doesn't. Now, I kind of know why that is. And the reason it is because this doesn't pass back a valid object. Right? If I do this, add a breakpoint there, right? If you watch. Right, it's already broken, and you'll notice this will say nothing. Okay, so fundamentally I need to excuse me, have a look at that, or I just need to use like a different animation blueprint. I can just create one and then basically just map it onto animation that's never going to get actually done, or it's going to get done but it's never going to be shown. But yeah, we can do it. So there's that, but we now have carpets and all the rest of it. So what am I going to work on next is the question. And a very good question it is. I think the next thing we're going to do, or the two things, right, before we end the stream, we're going to do two things in the upcoming streams. Number one, we're going to create a trap, or the basis for a trap. And number two, we're going to create a teleporter. Okay? And then we may adjust the minimap so that the minimap is always shown, but we update the hidden actors in the minimap. Right? So the minimap gets shown. Oh, we're going to lose our nice effect on that. Not to worry. We're either A, going to show our minimap with nothing on it apart from the minimap bonus and then bring them in, or we're going to just leave it as it is, right? And the other thing is to do a trap so that the player can get killed by a trap. I'm still waiting on the models getting done for the actual vampires. We had a look at one last night and it's looking pretty good. We also need the other thing, or the idea here is that we have a, if we look at the maps, right, and we look at the main menu, the idea for this was to have our vampire hunter as a 3D model in like a spotlight with the sort of brooding Dracula vampire type figure in the background. I'm going to change this font because it's kind of too plain, if there's such a thing. And then I'm going to move this as well and change this to something different, right? But we're going to tar up our menu here, and what I have in mind for this is for our character to do different gestures as you change, like as you hover over these, right? And then if you click on like a new game, he jumps in the air or something, or something like that, right? And that's the idea for that. But with that, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for the Discord and support the channel from as little as $1 on Patreon. And you can also check out my game on Steam and add it to your wish list, because that would really help. Even if you don't buy it, if you just add it to your wish list, that always brings more people to have a look at it. So with that, thanks for watching. I shall catch you tomorrow at 2 PM Central. And I shall see you then. Bye bye for now.